You used to shop on Temu only spending 20 bucks and get a delivered half a kitchen, 3 phone cases, and a random cat sweater. Even if you don't own a cat. But something's changed. Now your cart is empty. Your favorite $1 hacks? Gone. Shipping times? Longer than a government line? And the prices? Yeah, let's just say they don't start with a decimal point anymore. Turns out a few new tariffs just flipped Temu's entire business model on its head. And if you think this doesn't affect you, think again. Because this isn't just about cheap socks. It's about what happens when the last affordable place to shop disappears. You'd be forgiven for thinking it was a glitch. Your favorite $3 hairbrush? Gone. That oddly satisfying $2 drawer organizer? Out of stock. Suddenly, the app feels like an empty fridge when you're hungry. Full of hope, but not a lot of payoff. It started quietly. Just a few delayed shipments, then longer shipping windows. Now, some users are seeing weeks of radio silence after checkout. Others open the app to find most items unavailable or mysteriously priced double what they were last month. So what happened? In short, tariffs. Big, heavy, wallet-slapping tariffs. In May 2024, a new round of import restrictions hit hard, especially targeting platforms like Temu that ship goods directly from China. One of the biggest changes? The end of what's called the de minimis exemption. Before, as long as your package was under $800, it slid through customs without paying any extra import fees. That loophole? Gone. Now, US Customs slaps a hefty tariff of up to 145% on many of those same cheap goods. So that cute $4 tote bag? It now costs closer to $10. And that's before shipping, taxes, or surprise handling fees. Temu's whole model was based on shipping items from Chinese sellers directly to your doorstep. That strategy just collapsed. And rather than jack up every price and risk customer outrage, Temu quietly pulled the plug on much of its US shipping. They haven't made a big announcement, but users are already noticing. Items disappearing overnight, prices nearly doubling, orders stuck at customs, tracking numbers going dark. And it's not just random products. Whole categories, women's clothing, pet gear, even cleaning gadgets, are suddenly either unavailable or listed with delivery times that sound like a joke. Arrives in 43 to 61 days. That's not shipping, that's time travel. If you've scrolled TikTok or Facebook lately, you've probably seen the panic posts. What's going on with Temu? Did they shut down? My order's been in pre-shipment for 11 days. Should I be worried? Spoiler, yes. One woman on Reddit said her $20 haul, 12 items, was sitting in customs in Los Angeles with no movement for 2 weeks. Customer service told her to wait patiently. 2 days later, her package was marked returned to sender. And that's not a one-off. US shoppers who once praised Temu's weirdly reliable delivery times are now stuck in refund limbo. Some users report being ghosted completely. No updates, no refunds, no explanations. Temu's US presence isn't gone. Yet. But the writing's on the warehouse wall. Their entire business relied on loopholes that no longer exist. And now they're scrambling. The question is, what happens next? And for everyday Americans who counted on Temu to stretch their dollars, are we watching the final flash sale? Temu wasn't just a place to impulse buy things you didn't need. For a lot of people, especially moms, teachers, and women just trying to stretch every dollar, it was a lifeline. Need birthday party favors on a tight budget? Temu. Lost half your hair ties again? Temu. Kid outgrew their socks overnight? Temu. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. Now you click Add to Cart and either get slapped with the new $9 price tag or told the item doesn't ship to your area anymore. It's not just annoying, it's defeating. Because when everything else, as groceries, rent, gas, is already rising, losing the one place where you felt like you had a bit of control? That stings. One user on TikTok said it best. Temu made me feel like I was getting away with something. Like, how is this little vegetable slicer only $1.78? It was a rare moment where being a smart shopper actually felt good. Now it's back to comparison shopping and disappointment. Let's break it down. Temu was never perfect, but it was cheap, and that's why it worked. You could buy an entire cart of random stuff for under $20 and still feel like you'd gamed the system. Now, with the tariffs, that $20 cart, it It's $45 and if it's even available. The ripple effect is real. Classroom supplies? Teachers are paying out of pocket again. Household organizers? Back to overpriced Amazon finds. Holiday gifts? Good luck finding stocking stuffers for under $5. And let's not even start on small business owners who bought accessories and beauty tools on Temu to resell at craft markets or in online stores. Many of them are now stuck with longer lead times, higher costs, or nothing to sell at all. Even the fun's gone. Temu used to be about possibility, that joy of discovery. Now it's more like scrolling through a store that forgot to restock. You might still see some listings when you open the app, but click on them and you'll often find this. Ships in 30 to 60 days. Or worse, it lets you check out, takes your money, and 2 weeks later, you're still staring at a tracking page with no updates. People are calling it ghost stock, and they're not wrong. It's not just frustrating, it breaks trust. The very thing that made Temu feel fun and risk-free is now making shoppers suspicious. Some are reporting orders stuck in customs for weeks. Others are getting auto refunds after Temu silently cancels the item. Customer service? If you can reach them, they'll tell you to be patient. But when you've got $60 tied up in socks, makeup bags, and a phone case you really need, that doesn't feel like a helpful answer. Temu built its empire on speed, price, and that addictive little orange package showing up at your door faster than you expected. But now it's missing the magic. The charm is gone. And women everywhere, especially those who used it as a budget tool, are feeling the loss hard. Some have already moved on, turning to Walmart clearance aisles or resellers on Facebook Marketplace. Others are just frustrated, because it's not just the prices going up, it's the loss of one more little thing that used to make life feel easier. And in 2024, easier is something we're all chasing. Temu says it isn't leaving the US entirely. But let's be honest, if you're not shipping most of your inventory to your biggest customer base, are you really still here? They're now promising to restructure logistics and use US-based warehouses instead of sending items directly from China. Which sounds promising until you remember that Temu's whole appeal was built on $1 prices and free shipping. Warehouses in the US mean rent, labor, regulations. You know, all the expensive stuff they used to avoid. And guess what happens next? Yup, the $1 lip gloss becomes $6. The $4 lunchbox becomes $12. And suddenly Temu is competing with Target and Walmart, without the brand trust, return policy, or convenience. So yes, they may stick around, but no, it won't be the same. Because what made Temu Temu has officially left the building. Here's what makes this whole thing feel like a bad joke. While tariffs are supposedly meant to protect American businesses, they're hitting consumers the hardest, especially the ones who rely on affordable online shopping to make ends meet. We're watching the prices of basic essentials spike, while Chinese TikTok sellers are still managing to push out $10 Chanel bags through back channels. Let that sink in. It's getting harder to afford a pair of socks, but counterfeit luxury is just one DM away. The logic is upside down, and for the woman trying to clothe her kids, keep her house organized, and look halfway decent on a budget, the message feels loud and clear. You're not the priority. With Temu fading fast, shoppers are being forced to reassess. Some are going back to Walmart clearance aisles and Dollar Tree, but the prices still sting. Others are searching Etsy, eBay, and local Facebook groups, hoping to find a deal that doesn't take 45 days to arrive or cost 3 times what it used to. The reality? We're entering a phase where cheap might not exist anymore. Not like it used to. And that's scary, especially for the millions of Americans already living paycheck to paycheck. Because when a small app gave people a way to buy things they needed and things that sparked joy without blowing up the budget, it wasn't just shopping, it was freedom. Temu didn't die in a headline, it faded in your cart, one out-of-stock item at a time. And maybe it's not just about losing cheap things. Maybe it's about realizing how fragile convenience really is, when policy decisions made by people in suits hit the checkout buttons of everyday women.